Wintry weather to close the month of February and meteorological winter for that matter, especially to the north and northeast. A lesser opportunity for a few rain and snow showers this evening in Sioux Falls. Pier, you're just about done with it, but everybody gets in on a windy night with lows in the 20s into the teens as well. For your day tomorrow, 30s with a couple of 20s, more snow and wind up to the northeast. We'll talk about the rest of your 7-day forecast, including a look at the first weekend of March coming up. First to 4 starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, KELOLAND News first at 4.
We hear arguments at the U.S. Supreme Court as justices decide whether to allow President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan.
Plus, we'll introduce you to the Sioux Falls School Teacher of the Year and what he thinks of the honor.
And later, the snow is piled high at Houston Speedway as crews prepare for the track for some snowmobile races. Well, good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Tom Hansen.
And I'm Kelly Volk. The Supreme Court heard arguments today on President Joe Biden's federal student loan forgiveness plan. While
oral arguments went on, people rallied outside the court. KELOLAND News Washington, D.C. correspondent Basil John reports on the student debt showdown.
The oral argument started just after 10 in the morning as the fate of federal student loan forgiveness hangs in the balance. Tuesday, Supreme Court justices listened to arguments on 2 challenges to the president's plan to forgive a portion of student loans.
We're talking about $500 billion and 43 million Americans.
Chief Justice John Roberts questioned whether the president has the authority to approve a plan with such a high cost.
If you're going to give up that much amount of money, if you're going to affect the obligations of that many Americans on a subject that's of great controversy, they would think that's something for Congress to act on.
The Biden administration says 26 million people have applied and 16 million were approved to have up to $20,000 in federal student loan forgiveness. Nebraska Solicitor General James Campbell argued the plan is unfair.
Is it fair for someone that paid off their debt to not have the opportunity to have similar relief?
But while arguing on behalf of the Biden administration, U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogger said the program doesn't need to benefit everyone.
With any benefits program, there are going to be others outside the context of that particular program who aren't getting the benefit.
Despite the conservative majority in the Supreme Court, the president said Monday he still expects a favorable ruling.
I'm confident the legal authority to carry out that plan is there.
A decision for these 2 cases will be expected by late June. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Senator John Thune spoke today on the Senate floor criticizing President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. He also talked about his concerns for another proposal for an income-driven repayment system.
Both President Biden's outright student loan forgiveness and his student loan forgiveness masquerading as income-driven repayment are going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money. There are the direct costs of the plan that will be paid for by the federal government, in other words, by taxpayers, including those who never went to college and those who have already paid off their student loans.
Thune also said the president's student loan plans don't address the soaring cost of college tuition.
Senate has set aside the bill that would have banned events like drag shows from being funded or hosted by state government or public schools. The panel voted 4-3 to kill House Bill 1116. We'll listen in on the testimony ahead of the vote in just a half hour. Well, it was a little gloomy today, and I think some people are getting some snowflakes, Adam.
Yeah, just a few. We definitely have a decent bit of snow coming down in a hurry in portions of northeastern KELOLAND. We can see a prime example of that just over my shoulder in Aberdeen, where they've gotten in on some moderate snowfall over the last hour or two. 32, that's a view west, by the way, on our camera. Southeast wind at 15 miles per hour. But while, yes, it definitely looks like we're in a snow globe again up to the northeast, it is a different view in Pier. how about some sunshine? 36 at the Capitol, but that's a breezy 36. We have a southeasterly wind at 23 miles per hour, and we kind of split the difference for what it's worth here in Sioux Falls, 34, and also just a few little spits of snow with cloud cover. 30 in Brookings, 35 Mulbridge, 45 though in Phillip. How about 53 toward Rapid City, but it's a slightly breezy 53, a west wind at 10 miles per hour. Overall, everybody getting in on a bare minimum a breezy afternoon, if not outright windy along portions of the Missouri River Valley from Pierre headed up into Mulbridge as well. We have low pressure that's making its way through South Dakota as we speak. There's that band of moderate snowfall moving through Aberdeen. Also a little bit of mixing, a Huron over toward Brookings and into Watertown as well. And then a couple of very light snow showers in portions of southwestern Minnesota and northwestern Iowa as well. So we do have that area of low pressure, which will move on through and then gradually get out of here on Wednesday, which is why we still have winter weather advisories in place for a little while longer to the northeast compared to the north central and northwestern portions of KELOLAND. Tomorrow is going to be a cooler day, 20s and low 30s for highs in the southeast and northeast. The latter also getting in on a little more snow before that gets out of here in the afternoon. Out west, 30s with some low 20s up toward the North Dakota border. Not as windy West River compared to their East River counterparts. But after tomorrow, an overall March comes in like a lamb rather than a lion. We'll talk about the rest of your 7-day forecast as we head through the hour.
Thank you, Adam. Residents in Salem and the surrounding communities voiced their concerns today regarding a solar power project. Renee Ortiz has a preview of the story she's working on for KELOLAND News at 6.
I'm here in Salem at the McCook County Courthouse. National Grid Renewables withdrew their conditional use application for a solar power project after hearing testimonies from several people in the crowd. Many of the attendees that spoke at the meeting are property owners in the area and stated concerns about property value, environmental impacts, and impacts to farmland and livestock. Representatives of National Grid Renewables declined to comment after the meeting. You'll hear more in my full report coming up tonight. Reporting in Salem, Renee Ortiz, KELOLAND News.
Dozens of union workers and parents gathered at the Iowa State House Monday to protest a child labor bill.
Our kids are not for sale. Our kids are not for sale. Our kids are not for sale.
The bill would allow 14-year-olds to work in industrial laundries and meat freezers during the school year for 6 hours. Those hours could be extended during the summer months. It would also allow 15-year-olds to work on assembly lines. The bill would also reduce liability to employers if a child gets injured.
These are middle school kids cleaning big machinery, sharp machinery, and using harsh chemicals. They're sleeping through class. If they were getting paid a better wage, their families wouldn't depend on them as part of the family income.
The bill would also allow 16 and 17-year-olds to serve alcohol. Protesters say this is not the solution to Iowa's worker shortage.
Public libraries in North Dakota are voicing their concerns about bills that would ban libraries from displaying sexually explicit books. Both the North Dakota Senate and House passed their own bills concerning obscene content in books. The director of the Minot Public Library says she's concerned about how the bills are written and the unintended consequences they may have.
The fact that it is very vague without any clear definitions makes us a little worried. There's a portion of 2360 that talks about the written description of nude or partially nude people. And one thing we keep coming about, and this is like librarians and others, is that would include the Bible.
Janet Anderson says the library has its own way of determining what items are purchased and how they are cataloged.